All right, we are live. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Bling, the anthology, the purpose, pursuit, and power of women with blind faith. I'm Dr. Kimberly Ellison, and I am here with these amazing authors. Our newest book anthology from Sparkle Publishing, it is Bling. This is where we get the sound, and we never forget the sound. So I want to know who's joining us. We are live, so we're live from Sparkle Publishing Facebook page. Go ahead, ladies, and share to your audience, if you will, and come off mute so they can know that we are here, that the authors are in the house on tonight. This is our virtual book release event. Can we get a hello, a yell, a scream, a yes, or something from you all this tonight? Woo! Yeah!
Yes.
Yes, ladies, don't forget to share it. I love it, y'all. Relax. I'm nervous myself. I just told the ladies, I was like, y'all, I'm nervous. I was nervous typing in our book anthology and the book release. And so I'm nervous now trying to press on my phone so I can share it to my page. But ladies, tonight, it's all about the bling. And I am so excited. I'm Dr. Kimberly Ellison, and I am here, and I look forward to sharing and talking about these ladies in our journey. So for those of you who are joining us, welcome, welcome, welcome. We're about to rock the house. You're about to be blinded by the bling that has manifested in the lives of these women on tonight. We are unapologetically taking our place because we know that what God has told us, He's made manifest. He's brought it to the forefront, but it did not come without a cutting process. And we always talk about the diamond. We always talk about it's the cut of the diamond. And that cut brings us clarity. That cut takes us through a process. That cut allows us to see who God created us to become. It allows us to see Him more. It allows us to see Him more intimately and have a greater relationship with Him. But when you are cut in a certain place and His light hits that cut, you all have seen a diamond. When the light hits that cut, or when the light hits that gold, it is the sound that if that bling had a sound, it would say bling. And so that's the essence of our book anthology, and the title of Bling is the women who never forgot their sound. So welcome. It has been a journey, and I just want to say thank you to these amazing women on tonight. The reason I want to say thank you, not only because you allow Sparkle Publishing to share your story, but you also shared your story during a world pandemic. You also shared your story during times where the world, that one time the world shut down, you actually signed up right before the pandemic. And when you could have bowed out gracefully, you still weathered that pandemic. You still weathered the challenges, the unknown, what was in the future, and you still walked right into the place that God had placed on your heart for you to share your bling. And your stories are worth it. There are so many women whose lives are going to be transformed and changed. Y'all, if you are watching on Facebook, let us know you're there. Let us see your comments. Tell us where you're from. These women are from all over the US of A. We have women from the DMV. We have, again, if you don't know, that's DC, Maryland, Virginia. We have women from Texas, Louisiana, South Carolina, North Carolina. I'm telling you, women, we are here from all over, and we are excited. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to introduce Sandra Walter. She is our author development and writing coach who has taken this journey with us. And I want to introduce Sandra and let her tell her story about how she came to know the sound of this bling team, and then introduce our authors on today. Go ahead, Sandra.
Thank you so much. It has been an amazing opportunity hearing these stories before everybody else got to hear these stories. It has been, I think it was a journey to kind of start off. And so I feel so blessed to be a part of this bling team. These are some amazing women. And I would have to say, I kind of had issues with women before I worked with the bling team. So bless the Lord. I know that women godly women can really be a blessing to people. You guys have been a blessing to me. Just to hear the sound of your bling, you ignited me and said, Sandra, identify your bling, because I'm listening to y'all and I'm helping y'all through these stories and y'all are igniting me. So thank you so much for the opportunity to be the writing coach and the client development manager. Thank you.
Trying to come off mute. I'm trying to come off mute. Listen, Sandra keeps us lit, y'all. I'm telling you, if you take a look at these ladies, we want to walk through their journey. And this is it's all about the bling segment. So we're going to get right into it. If Sandra, if you will, I know we got our script, but I want to be able to introduce these ladies. I don't want to introduce their chapters just yet, but what I'm going to do is just kind of share. I want you all to share and just say, how did you decide to share your bling? This is how did these authors begin to say, I want to write my bling. So what I want Sandra to do is come back on, if you will, introduce all of our authors, not with their bios, just with their names, and they can say hello so that the women and men who are watching can know who's talking and whose bling they listening to, and then they'll get to answering these questions. So go right ahead, if you will.
Okay, so I'm simply just announcing their names, right?
Yes, and y'all wave over there. Which they quiet
and
all they all reserved.
1 through 4 is Sharrelle Reed, Prophetess Christine Bowen, and Felicia Taylor. And chapters 5 through 8 is Jean Barbie Dawkins and Kiana Mcdaniel and Jermaine B Fields and Lorna Dennis. Lorna Dennis. And the last chapter is Pastor Latoya Harris. Did I get everybody?
No, we missed Kenya and Madison, baby.
Did we miss Kenya? Oh no. So Kenya,
Madison, yes, honey.
Madison. I missed some other ladies, but they were absent.
Yes, but that's all right. We're talking about Pastor Ingrid Pickett and also Reverend Robin Smiley. Ladies, this is the 2020 Sparkle Publishing Bling, the anthology. You are listening, if you're just joining us, to the women who, again, never forgot the sound. It's their purpose, pursuit, and the power of women with blind faith. And so on tonight, I just want to get started. We just a little too tight for me. Like, we just kind of too tight, just kind of stiff. And this is really a celebration. And I want to introduce to some, because they done seen it, but what it's all about, the bling, baby. If you got your books, ladies, share with them. It's all about the bling on tonight. Y'all, listen, if you don't have it, it's on its way. But again, they got their books in hand. It is beautiful. It is amazing. And I want to just really go on this journey, because when we talk about bling, it's really to share their stories. And the stories is not necessarily about us. It happened to us. We went through it, but it's really to help someone else transform their life. And so with bling, it was more for women who are leaders in their business, in their ministries, women who are leaders in their career, in their profession, and who has gone through some challenges where things have really tried to take their purpose, something that tried to rob them of the very thing that they were created to do. And these women rose to the occasion every single time that they had a challenge. They didn't do it alone. They did it in the power of God. And they may not at that time thought that that was something that they were to walk in. Then maybe they questioned their purpose. Maybe they questioned if God called them to that business or to full-time ministry or in that profession or to own that particular boutique or to have that event planning service or even to have that ministry worldwide, to walk into their business, their job every single day in their career as a leader. And God was calling them and they were going through challenges. And so I want you to hear these stories. You will find yourself in all of these stories. If you don't find yourself, you'll find someone that you know. If you don't hear it, the sound, we want you to be reignited with your purpose. We want you to reconnect with your purpose. And these stories are aligned in such a way throughout this book that they matriculate. And when we get to the end, we got Pastor Latoya Harris who take us all the way there. She points us straight to the King. So I'm not going to just, give it away. I want to really ask the women. I want to start off with Sharrelle Reed. She is chapter 1 in our book. And I just want, look, y'all, I'm not even trying to go like deep. I just want to just hear, because when we get into your stories, I want you to, just really just go in. But right now, you know what? Let's just take the cap off. Whatever he allows, let's just do that. Is that okay? All right. So what I want to ask you, author Sharrelle Reed, how did you decide on being a part of Bling?
Well, good evening, everybody. I'm so excited. I feel like a Coca-Cola that's about to burst, right? I'm trying to be calm. I really believe that as the Bible says, we overcome by the words of our testimony. And so if we as a people are going to overcome, we have to hear testimonies. And so just as I have overcame some really hard times in my life due to testimonies I've heard from others, then I want to do the same for someone else. So I understood that this particular anthology was going to be a platform where I can tell my true story, and I can tell how God's hand was in it, and that I can be of some type of inspiration to other people out there who read it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And y'all wait till she unpack that story. Y'all not gonna be ready. When she unpacked that story, y'all gonna be like, okay, all of that came out of that lady. All of that came out. God trusted her with that bling. He trusted her to be able to shine his light so that others can be transformed, so other people can walk in their destiny. I'm telling you now, up next is Pastor Christine Bowen. I just want to share with us, why did you decide to join as an author this anthology, Bling?
Blessings, everyone. I am with Sharrelle. I'm so excited. I don't know what to do with myself. And I tell you, just to be a part of this panel, just to be a part of this group with these beautiful women, oh my God, it is just so humbling. And I thank God every day that I was chosen at this time and in this season to be able to be a part of this wonderful work. I mean, you all, I tell you, when you talk about birthing purpose, it's all in God's timing. It's all in God's timing. I happen to have seen your website and I read the description and I said, God, I want to go ahead and send in my information. I said, but God, which story do I tell? That right there, because the testimonies, just like she was talking about, we have so many different testimonies and the journey was so great. Yes, it was not easy, but it was so worth it. And just to be able to give my story to encourage another woman who may be in a dark place, to let her know you can make it. Don't let go. You hold on, stay focused, and allow God to work on the inside of you, and you will discover your bling. And oh, Dr. Kimberly, not only did I discover my bling, but it grew my faith. See, I have the gift of faith, but during the time these things were happening, I didn't know I had the gift of faith. Come on here, somebody. So doing this and going through these things that we go through is to encourage and push somebody else. And I want to push another woman into birthing. I want her to birth her purpose and her destiny. And I just want to tell you, thank you so much for allowing me to be a part of this anthology.
Wow. Y'all, let me tell you, no, thank you, Pastor Christine, for sharing your voice and trusting me with your story. I do not take it lightly. Y'all, she said she saw that post and was like, this is something I got to be a part of. And that is how it pulls you. That is when you see something that God has set before your path, you're kind of going back and forth. I don't know, it might be. But then when you make that decision and you are in alignment, it starts right here. And so on tonight, we're launching and releasing, but it's more than just a book release. release and our book launch, it's really beginning to launch people into their destinies, launch people into a greater level of faith. And so I'm just excited before we just tear this whole Zoom book release up. Talisha Taylor, author Talisha Taylor, tell us a little bit about how and why you decided to join Bling.
Well, I have to say that just agreeing with Pastor Christine Bowen, it was God's timing. When I saw this project, it was right after another project that I had worked on with Sparkle, and I had come through we would call it our church a miracle moment, a miracle. And with God's timing, you know, I'm okay with being behind the scenes. Everyone knows I'm okay being quiet. I don't have to say anything. I'll do everything. But there's a story to tell there. You know, there were some things that I went through and I just couldn't keep it quiet. And at that time, it was, you know, I had gone through it. The miracle was there. The book project came up and I just had to say something. I just had to have an opportunity to tell my story. So that's how I got on board with Bling. It was all in God's timing. I was out of school, so I had the actual time to focus on the project. So.
Wow. And I tell you, that's the big deal, is when we seem out of focus, and when everything's going on in our life, that is when God places things in our heart and the spiritual desires start to manifest that he's given us in Jeremiah 1:5. And we'll be like, wait a minute, is this me? Is this the right time? I don't know. Do I fit? Do I belong? Is this something you want me to do? And when you say yes, and you give him your yes, you go and walk into places that you never even knew that you would even experience. I never knew in my destiny that I would be connected with you amazing ladies at this point. I'm honored, y'all. Like, y'all think that's just something I say. I do not take it lightly. I'm honored to do life with each of you. And when I say I'm honored to carry your stories, like, this goes beyond us. And this is only just where it starts. So I want to bring next Miss Kiana Mcdaniel, if you will, and tell us why you joined and Bling the anthology.
Hello, everyone. I am super uber excited to be a part of Bling amongst such amazing women. For me, and Kimberly knows this, I actually ran from Bling. I was like, I want to do it, but I ain't gonna do it. I'm gonna wait till next year. And God just took every excuse and threw it out the window. Every excuse I would put in front of me, he would just throw it out the window, like, now. And I remember telling myself, it's time to get ahead of my fear, because it was only me. That's my problem with my Bling is that I'm my own competition. I'm my own enemy. I get in my own way about a lot of things. And when I decided to do it, I said, it's time for me to get ahead of my own fear. And that's what I did. I said, you know what? I did it. And I didn't want to do I wanted to do it and don't look back. I wanted to take care of whatever requirement was and don't look back. Because if I would have looked back, if I had the opportunity to look back, I would have been like, nope, I'm jumping off the train. But but I went ahead and did it. And I'm so thankful for it, because I was able to really discover not only that I've always had my Bling, that's like anyone else, but the women in my life who were at such a young age were able to point it out and seed it and plant it and help nurture it and grow it to where I am today. So I want to say I didn't want to do it, but I did, and I just went ahead and did it and got it out the way.
Wow. And thank you for sharing that, because y'all, she speaks to so many other women who take this journey. And those of you who are more than, this is your first book, some of you are 2-time, 3-time, 4-time authors, and you're amazing Kingdom Boss chicks. And so, but to be a part of this particular anthology, to share the purpose, pursuit, and power of women with blind faith. And that blind faith is something, again, that you do it and you do it afraid, just as Kiana has said on tonight. And next up, we have Jermaine B Fields. Tell us, Jermaine, a little bit about why you decided to join Bling.
First of all, faith is the substance of things hoped for and the evidence of things not seen, okay? I wanted to share my Bling because for a very, very long time, the enemy created this scenario in my head that I wasn't good enough, okay? I didn't have any special talent. However, I beg to differ, and God saw me differently as well. I wanted to be able to share with women. I've gone through discouragement. I've gone through rejection. I've gone through a failed marriage. I've been up, I've been down, almost leveled to the ground.
Come on.
However, God has brought me through it all. And it's not because of me. And I started sharing my story when we did the promise. Okay, that was just a little peek and insight into where God was bringing me and where he brought me from. And I was tired of hiding. So with Bling, I was able to reveal a little bit more of all the things that God has done in my life and all the things that he is continuing to do. And I wanted to be an encouragement to someone else and stop hiding behind the fear of what people may think of me.
Wow. When I tell you, y'all, listen, she said a whole mouthful, and I can't wait when you talk about failed marriages, when you talk about all those different things that women go through and the different things that you encounter along your journey. You have no clue who that's going to help. You're looking at it in the present, but really it's for somebody else's future. And so I'm telling you, I'm super, super excited. I'm about to come out my seat. Next, we have Lorna Dennis. Parker, tell us, Lorna, why did you decide to join Bling and share your sound?
Well, for me, it's about second chances, because God had already brought me through something and performed a miracle by saving my life. And I made a promise to him that I wasn't obedient. I began to let life get in the way again. And he used such perfect tapestries and undeniable opportunities that he gave me an opportunity to be faithful and to do what I had promised him. And because he's such a forgiving God all the time, and I couldn't be still and listen and hear him, he put it in my face in such a way. When I met you, Dr. Kimberly, it was the first time that I actually met you, us being from the same hometown, having never met one another, living in the same city now, having never run into each other, and taking a flight on the same odd route, not a direct route, but on the same odd route, being on the same plane twice. And then being seated right across from one another, because there was a work that he knew that needed to be done. Having had you open up and speak to me about some things, and me open up and speak to you about some things, all behind the color of a coat, you know? And that's something that only God can do. That's something that's so undeniable. And then you gave me a call the next day and you said, I have an opportunity that I want to speak to you about. I think you would be perfect for. And that just broke every shell I had around me, because when we begin to put things off sometimes, we get so deep in our disobedience that we don't know how to dig ourselves out. So for me, it was the opportunity to do the thing that I had promised that I would do, that would mean something to me. And I know he has it, so it's going to mean something to somebody else. So that is why I decided to share my bling. But I tell you that on this journey, and it's been a heavy day for me today, even though it's happiness, you know, there are things that my father put into me and asked, you know, and used to tell me that I could do. And I just wish I had been obedient sooner so he would have seen it. But I'm so thankful now, and these are happy tears, that I met you and that I was able to do this, because he has really grown my voice, not the voice that I'm speaking with, but the voice that I listen to from him and the voice that's inside me. And I'm able to show up for other people now in a way that I wouldn't have been if I hadn't gone on this journey. And so I'm grateful for that. And so it was kind of like a rediscovery of my bling. And that is why I decided to go on this journey, because I had to.
Wow. Wow. Y'all hear that? She had to. Y'all, this is so, just take it in, because I'm like, wow. We're here. Y'all, we are here. We're here. It was a fight, but we are here. Whew, Pastor Latoya Harris, share with us why you joined Bling.
Well, good evening, everyone. Just to add on to what everyone else has already said, everyone has already stated. One of the reasons is I got tired of hearing people say, for a word from the Lord. There's another book in you. I was like, all right. You're gonna write another book. They got, I put one out there, but there's another book in you. And I was like, I'm gonna get to it. I'm so busy, I'm gonna get to it. And when I saw this advertised on Facebook, and even when I saw, I think it was 2019, I saw Scribe Tribe 2019. And I was like, oh my God, they look fabulous. I mean, the women were together, they were moving in sync, and everybody was excited. It was much fire and passion. And I was like, you know what, I want to be a part of that. And not only that, I had watched your work, Dr. Ellison, and the work that you put out and what you do and with Sparkle Publishing and so many other things. And I was like, that's done in excellence. I want to be a part of something that is not haphazardly done. I want to be a part of something that is done in excellence, where when people see it, they'll be like, just like I was, wow, I want to be a part of something like that. And so finally, I buckled down when I saw you release this for the beginning of 2020. I was like, yeah, I think that's what I want to do. I want to be a part of that, and not just to do it and be on an island by myself, because sometimes we can be good at being isolated. And so to come together with a group of women was even more idea, for me, and to put just pieces of my life into a book. And not only that, to leave a legacy that those will be able to not just see what I preach or minister or what I do, but they actually will be able to pick up a book and go back and read it and be like, oh, well, because there's some people that may not see you, but they may buy a book and they may read it and be like, you know what? I know a little bit more about that person than I thought I knew. It's left in paper and it's left in writing. And so those were some of my main reasons for being a part and definitely being obedient to God.
Wow. And listen, first of all, I don't know if the people know, and but it ain't no secret, but we are first cousins. And so we cousins for real. My dad and her mom are sister and brother. And so it is an honor to do life with her in this way. I honor what she carries. And so to be a part and walk this journey with her would have never been a part of, we could have put this together. Like we would have never been able to say, oh, we're going in this many years, we're going to be authors together. I never would have been able to, say that and think that, but God always knows and he orchestrates things. The chance meeting with Lorna on a plane, she said, hey, that is a beautiful coat. Really knowing you all, some of you all, I've never laid eyes on in person, knowing Jermaine from church and doing life groups and I'm from spiritual gifts training for Talisha, from volunteering for Corporate Jewel the first day she walked in the university. I'm telling y'all, it is just dynamic and amazing, and connecting with Kiana. I walked in her shop one day. She had no clue who I was. I didn't know who she was. I just knew that I'd heard about the House of the Shea. I looked it up. I was online and I was going, and I walked in, and just always just a breath of fresh air. I am grateful for every journey and connection with Pastor Christine, Sharrelle. These ladies, I'm telling you all, we connected at heart, even if I haven't seen them in person or connected with them. And I'm just grateful to do life with each of them. First of all, before we rock and roll, those of you, let us know you're on. I see you all sharing it. Oh, that's amazing. Keep sharing this. If you will, share this so as many people that can connect. You don't know what people are going through. You have no clue what women are going through right now. We're in the middle of COVID. Still, it's a world pandemic going on. People are having the vaccination done. People are kids are going back to school. Things look normal, right? Because it's one thing about the human spirit. We are resilient. And so we can kind of start to go with whatever's going on. After a while, we'll adjust to what's going on in our environment. It's almost like if you come in from outside, I don't know if you've ever been outside in the sunshine, and then when you walk through the door, it's dark. I don't know if you've ever experienced that, but if you've ever gone outside and then you start to walk through the door in your house, it's dark. Your eyes have to adjust before you can see things as normal. And so oftentimes we'll go through a process and things look different for us, and then they start to look the same and we feel our way through. But I want us to take this time and go through our adjustment period. And so the women that are going through an adjustment, a transition, transformation, there are some women who are trying to get rid of some relationships. There are women who are trying to get rid of business partnerships. There are women who are going through ministry and they are tired. They're ready to give up. Ministry leaders who are feeling faint and weary. There are women who want to leave corporate America, but they are deathly afraid. There are women who are wanting to move up in their careers, in their company, and they don't have the courage nor the support. And I'm telling you now, there are women who want to have children, who desire to have children on earth. And the doctors keep saying no. And the doctors keep saying it's impossible. And we have women who never forgot the sound of their bling. We have women who've had a diagnosis that they're afraid of. We've had women who have a diagnosis and they're going through right now. They're going through right now. And they need your story. And so what we're going to do is, Sandra, if you're ready, go ahead and do the bios, because I want the people to know who we got in this place. I want them to know this good stock. And we sitting in, as the old people saying, hot cotton over here. So go right ahead. And while Sandra's reading, if you will, y'all share. And I want you to know, the ladies, y'all don't leave us Facebook Live. I'm telling you, don't try to say, I'm gonna watch the replay. It's something for you right now, tonight. So Sandra, go ahead with Sharrelle's intro so I can get into these good old hot questions.
All right, I get the distinct pleasure of announcing the contributing authors of Bling. Bling authors chapters 1 through 4. Sharrelle Reed is a wife, mother, author, life coach, and sister next door, called to ministry of encouragement and empowerment. Sharrelle is a corporate instructor and the founder of Find Your Resilience, a nonprofit organization and female empowerment movement for women to learn from their past, live today, and pursue purpose. She is the host of the Blooming Effect podcast, which are conversations on effectively affecting the world on the journey from past to purpose. Sharrelle is strong in her faith and understands all experiences are necessary for one's purpose. According to Sharrelle, I'm just a girl who loves God, and as a result of that love, I am God's girl. Chapter 1, she lives, she learns, she blings. Welcome, Sharrelle Reed, to the stage. All right, next we have prophetess Christine Bowen, who is co-pastor of Emmanuel Temple of Praise Ministries International in Houston, Texas. She ministers alongside her husband, Apostle Carlton Bowen. She is the founder and CEO of Real Talk Just for Women that airs on bgklnetwork.com. Christine's desire to win souls goes beyond the church's four walls. Christine believes that healing begins within when you begin to fulfill Revelation 12:11, and they overcome him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Chapter 2, Birthing Faith. Welcome, prophetess Christine Bowen. Next we have Talisha Taylor, Masters of Education. She is the owner of Empowering Success Tutoring, LLC. Empowering Success Tutoring is not only her business, but her ministry. Talisha's mission is to build confidence through developing skills that meet the needs of the whole child. Her vision is that every child will have adequate access to education. She has recently moved into consulting at the collegiate level, impacting future educators to allow more children to have the same access. Talisha is a follower of Christ, a wife, a mother, and educator. Chapter 3, God's Hands. Welcome, Talisha Taylor, to the stage. Awesome.
Right. All right. Thank you, Sandra. Y'all, welcome to the stage. We're going to dive right in. There is, again, I want you to jump in. I still feel like we're a little too formal, but we almost in this thing. We're catching our groove. So we're kind of catching our groove. But I want to just ask the question. When you talk about your chapter, Sharrelle, it's she lives, she learns, she blings. So tell us a little bit about the lessons that led to the bling.
Well, Dr. Kimberly, I'll put it this way. My grandmother used to always say, people see the glory, but they don't know the story. And so I believe that I am who I am today as a direct result of the adversity I experienced and the lessons I learned from them. And so I'm blinging today as a result of the lessons and me learning from the mistakes I made, learning from the resiliency of bouncing back from adversity along the way.
Wow. I'm telling you, when you talk about that, tell us a little bit about some of those adversities. If you could say one of the things that you, again, learned from, what would be one of the things you share tonight that you know will help transform someone's life?
I guess what I can talk about is feeling that, well, put it this way, I'm from New Orleans, Louisiana. Nola girl. And my parents divorced when I was young. And so what they felt, I was like 1 when they divorced. And so they decided that the best place for my older brother and I was to live with my grandmother. And I understand now that they did what they felt was best for me. But being a child, not living with your mother, not living with your father, you begin to think, I wonder if something's wrong with me. I wonder if, so that particular experience, and just as Pastor Christine said earlier, there are so many experiences and testimonies, but that particular experience began to build up inadequacies in me, if you would. I started to wonder if I was good enough. Was I ever gonna find someone who wants to hear what I have to say? And so as a result of going through that, as my life progressed, I've learned, and today I understand that that experience was necessary for me to be exactly who I am, because it taught me firsthand who God was, because he was with me every step of the way, even though I had insecurities, even though I had the inadequacies, and they still rise up. Everything doesn't always go away, but with God, I know that I can overcome everything. So if I could do it all over again, I would do it the same way. And if I could encourage someone out there, don't forsake your process in life. God decided to allow you to go through it, and he's going to be there with you every step of the way. So don't forsake your process, because you don't know everything that's ahead, but he does. And with every experience, it builds character, it builds sensitivities to assist us with where we're going. And another thing my grandmother used to always say is, girl, keep on living. You're going to see why you have to go through what you have to go through. Keep on living.
Wow. Sharrelle, you just said a lot. You said, don't forsake your process, y'all. Some just hit me, because when you talk about don't forsake your process, oftentimes we just want to, it's almost like even if we don't say a why me, sometimes we look around and it seems that other people's lives are just a little bit better, or they don't go through as much. And you're like, but I've learned that the same way you're looking at someone else, someone's looking at you, and that you're living somebody else's dream. And even though you're going through a valley, they would trade their life with you in a heartbeat. Yes. And so I've learned to not forsake my process. And I've learned to not only fight, but fight on my territory. And when you do that, you get the stories like she lives, learns, and she blings. You get the stories like birthing purpose. So Pastor Christine, would you tell us a little bit about your chapter and the thing that you would share tonight that you said, I did not forsake my process. I wanted to, I felt like it, I tried to, but I couldn't. And share a little bit about your chapter and what you think as it relates to birthing purpose.
Yes, yes. Dr. Kimberly, I tell you, one of the things that I had to learn is that our testimonies are powerful. But in order to actually get the testimony, you got to go through the test. You got to go through something. And so the cost of the oil is what people don't understand. The oil is the anointing. And there's things that we're going to go through in our lives that's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to feel good. And it's going to be to the kingdom. It's toward kingdom advancement. It's toward helping someone else. But in the process of going through it, we don't understand it in that process. We don't understand why we may lose a child, or understand why we get divorced and you've been married 16 years and then all of a sudden, you know, you're no good anymore. And, or how it is that you get remarried and you're trying to have a child, and then guess what? You wind up not being able to have the child. You go through the process, but in that you find your bling, you find your faith. You also find strength in your marriage. And so to encourage someone else, another woman who is going through, who may have miscarried, may have had an ectopic pregnancy, may have lost a husband, may be getting divorced, and you feel like you're in a train wreck. Go through the process and allow God to create a miracle that is going to be within the inside of you, that's going to heal your brokenness, that's going to give you boldness, that's going to give you that aspiration to be a leader, that's going to give you a voice. Because too often we're shut down and we're told that we're never amount to nothing. You don't know what you're talking about. You're only good enough to be a wife, when God has already instilled things in us for us to birth. And it's his purpose for our destiny. And so I wanted to encourage other women to don't forsake it, stay focused. And it's only for a while. It's only for a while.
Y'all, I'm telling you, it's good on tonight. But you all know, as women, we have this undeniable ability that to appear strong. And we have this ability to go through our process. And there are some things that will break us and that will make us pliable. And it will also make us vulnerable. And as I've read your stories, y'all, first of all, I've read this book cover to cover a couple of times, and it is dynamic. I'm not saying this because God gave the vision to me to connect with you all in destiny. No, I'm saying this because the stories in this book are life-changing. They are faith activating. They are purpose igniting. And so I'm telling you, when you talk about that process, it makes us pliable, bendable, and it makes us vulnerable. And we don't like to be, I know for me, I don't like to be as vulnerable because we learned that vulnerability is a weakness. But there are some things that we go through in this process where we are to be weak. And it is, the Lord tells us in his word, he says that when we are weak, he is strong. So therefore, there's this direct implication that there will be weak times, weak moments. He says, my strength is made perfect in your weakness, or in weakness. So therefore, that means there are some things that are going to come and we will be weak in them, and we're not to appear strong. So in that, we rely on his strength. So Talisha, as we talk about God's hands, staying in his hands.
Yeah.
When you wanted to give up, when you kind of didn't know what to do on your journey of believing more in what he gave you than what was in front of you. Tell us about staying in his hands and your chapter, in your chapter, a little bit about how that worked for you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Kim. I have to say that I've been broken. I've been down. I've been a lot of things. And at that point, where the story begins with Bling, I was at a place where everything was okay. Nothing was moving forward and nothing was moving backwards. And I knew that if something didn't change, I would be going backwards. And so I knew I had to make a mid-course adjustment and just started reflecting over a lot of things that had moved me forward previously. And it was the hunger that I had after his word, after, just constantly doing something that was in line with what God had for me. When he said, turn left, I turned left. And I heard his voice and I kept moving. But at this point, I was not moving at all. And I didn't want to go back. And I was like, so what do I do? I had to make a mid-course adjustment. So what did I do? I started doing the things that I had done before. But what I really realized was it wasn't me looking to move forward or going to that next level. It was God ready to prepare me for the next thing. And a lot of times, we think about what we have and it's ours. This is my business. This is my house. This is mine. And what the lesson God wanted to teach me through this whole situation was that it all belonged to him.
Wow.
And I didn't know that that's where he was taking me. I just knew that there was something, it was too comfortable. I didn't, in my business, I didn't get any new clients. I didn't lose any clients. Money was the same. I lived the same, but I had to make some moves. And God brought me to a place to where, hey, look, this is mine. You have to treat mine the way I would treat mine. And just started, again, following God's word, going back and thinking about the connections that I had to people and their words and how that contributed to God's plan for his ministry, because that is what the business is. It is his ministry. It's the ministry of children. It's the impact that I've had on families, but this ministry has had on families, on children, and even just taking it to a new level. And it was as if when I realized that this was all his, more doors started to open. More steps were being taken to the next level. And that was the bling.
Wow. I'm telling y'all, listen, I said, you're going to find yourself in so many of these stories. It's going to be ridiculous. You don't have to be going through a tumultuous time for God to speak in your life. Talisha just shared with us that there was nothing wrong. There wasn't nothing bad, but it was just kind of in a place where there needed to be more of an obedience, more of a press in so that God can press on and again, move forward that potential. And we're not in a place when we talk about what it is that we're in really being intimate with God, really saying, Lord, what is it that you have called me to do? Or y'all, when you get too comfortable, this is not one of those things where you're like, oh, if I'm serving God, it's going to be difficult. No, if you breathe in life, there's going to be suffering in some way. We can't avoid it, right? And so when you think about it, I always say, well, if we have unavoidable suffering, I'm going to be with the one who is able while I'm going through versus myself, like depending on my ability or depending on someone else's ability. Y'all, this is a question for everyone. And so if you will, you can actually raise your hand, or if I see you come off mute, you can answer it. So we talked about do not forsake the process. And so that's chapters 1 through 4. And Pastor Ingrid is a part of those 4 chapters as well. Her story is a love first. And so in that, I want to just ask these questions to you all. One question, we talked about not forsaking that process. And I want to ask all of the authors, and keep it brief so we can get to everyone in their section. But how do you just go through the process without really giving up? Like it's easier said than done. Like y'all written about it, and I've read your stories.
I would have to use one scripture. He that dwelleth in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. Making it through means abiding. Making it through means allowing God to be that covering, and really, really just surrendering every step of the way to Him. So abiding in the Word, abiding in Christ, abiding in obedience in the direction in which He wants to take us on this path. So,
man, that's deep, y'all. We talk about abiding, right? And we talk about what does that look like? So when we say abiding, I want you all to give me some practical things. How do you abide? Like, how do you abide in Him? Because there are people out here listening. There are people who are going to see this live who, when you talk about abide, y'all, she said this scripture and it was like really powerful. Like, if you abide in Him. But sometimes when we are going through, I don't even know how to abide in Him. So tell us a little bit about what did your abide look like? Because my abide may be different, but we got to abide in Him. We got to stay in His shadow of His wings. We got to be right there. So what did that look like for any of you? You all can answer. Pastor Christine.
Dr. Kimberly, during the time that I was going through this particular situation and things of that nature, and even before, it was the church home that I was attending, and I was able to serve to help me get through what I was going through. I could not have done it without the grace and mercy of God, but I was drawn to Him. It was like He was my lifeline. And so while I served in ministry, while I focused on Him, while I focused in working in the ministry, through servanthood, I was able to get to a place where I could heal, where I could forgive. And this is the part where, for me, I could not be who I am today, being the CEO and founder of Real Talk Just for Women, Love Beyond Love, unless I could learn how to love beyond love. Forgive the ones who truly hurt you to your soul.
Wow. Ooh.
And that can only be by the grace of God.
Wow. Pastor Latoya. Wow. Pastor Christine, I'm moving on. Pastor Latoya, you were coming off mute earlier.
Yes, ma'am. Just to add to what everyone has already said, I would like to say, how do you abide in God? Number one, the book talks about blind faith, and that's that I want to bring out, blind faith. And that is, you have to trust God when you can't trace Him, when you can't see Him, when you can't feel Him, when you don't know if He's even there. That relationship you build with God will keep you rooted. It'll keep you in a strong, firm foundation with the simple fact, I can't see you, God. I can't trace that you are with me, but I trust that you got me. And during those, my darkest moments, that is really what carried me through to allow me to continue to abide in Him. And not only that, just basically knowing God's word, building that daily relationship with Him, it becomes stronger day by day. Trials will cause your relationship become stronger, just like natural relationships with your Heavenly Father. We go through trials and tribulations. So I would like to say that when you cannot trace Him, that we got to learn how to trust in God and in all things. One more thing is, when you can get to a place to give up. A lot of people say, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up. But there were some things I had to learn to give up on, and it was okay to give up. It was okay to let it go. It was okay not to care about certain things anymore. It was okay to let the rope go that was actually bruising my hand or causing me certain types of pain or issues. It was okay to quit on certain things. And so I just want to leave that little nugget real quickly.
Woo, y'all, that's deep. It's okay. It's okay to let go. It's okay to leave those things. When she said, let that rope go, I don't know if y'all ever had like a rope. When I was in elementary school, we'd have something called Olympic Day. And we would have tug of war. And it would be the opposing students or an opposing class who was in opposition to our class. And it was a competition and who would win this tug of war. And we would pull and pull to the point where either they were going to drive us down or we were going to drag them down. But by the time we finished, if you let go of the rope and you look at your hands, there was some bruising. There was the little inside got a little hard and a little red. And that's exactly what we have to learn in the process. Jermaine said, learning to abide in him. And that's really, like Pastor Latoya said, letting go. Pastor Christine, trusting him. That's abiding. And so I'm just grateful. Y'all see why we do life together? Like, that's why, because when we put it out there like this, and as we were preparing, the ladies, the authors were like, what do we? I said, no, we gonna go authentic. We gonna have celebration. We gonna go in. We're gonna have questions, but we gonna really just share, and people will see why your story matters, because the things that you've gone through, we talk about going through that process, man, it's hard. It's hard. And I wanted to also share with you ladies too, as we move to chapters 5 through I think 8, we're gonna move to those chapters, but I want you all to really just think about all the women who take this particular process in secret. Like, how many people did you tell when you were going through? You probably had a few sprinkles, and you probably didn't even tell them everything. The torment, the mental torment, the emotional distress, the thoughts you have that you wouldn't dare tell not one person. You wouldn't even tell your closest friend. And those are the things that we're ministering to through Bling. Those are the stories, the job, the rejection, people on career progression. Jermaine has had an amazing career. And then when life happens, just different things. And so y'all better get this book from these ladies. Go to their personal sites, go to their Facebook pages and order their book. And so what I want to share with you on tonight as we move forward chapters 5 through 8, Sandra, you can prepare to introduce the ladies. And again, we're about to rock and roll with this second half, and y'all better not move because y'all ain't heard the best of this Bling.
All right, awesome. Before I get started, Kiana, do you pronounce your middle name Dasha?
Deshay.
It's Deshay. Okay. I'll make sure I correct that. Deshay. So,
Blame it on my mama.
All right. Kiana Deshay Mcdaniel, loving wife of 15 years, mother of 3 amazing daughters, and the trailblazer, founder, creator, and visionary behind the House of Deshay and Deshay Cosmetics. Next we have, and her chapter is Always Had It In Me. Welcome to the stage, Kiana Deshay Mcdaniel. All right, next we have Jermaine B Fields. She was born and raised in the Bronx, New York. She currently resides in Crowley, Texas, and is a project manager for a large pharmaceutical company. Jermaine is a John Maxwell certified speaker, trainer, and coach. Her mission is to help women become successful in every area of life. Chapter 7, Me, Myself, and Why. Welcome, Jermaine B Fields, to the stage. Yay. All right, next we have, and I'm going to get this right, Lorna. Lorna Dennis. She's a certified event and trained floral designer who curates bespoke luxury experiences for clients, customized from invitation to entertainment. She is the owner and principal designer with LD Parker Event Designs, a boutique firm in Charlotte, North Carolina. Chapter 8, The Reappearance of Faith. Welcome, Lorna Dennis, to the stage.
Woo! Y'all, like, listen, I was when she said y'all actual chapter types, like, wait a minute, woo, that's enough by itself. I mean, goodness, always had it in me, myself, and why. The reappearance of faith. I'm ready, y'all. Tell me, and we will again. I'll put it out there, Kiana. When you talk about always had it in me,
Yes.
tell us about this thing that many of us struggle with as it relates to women and the little girl and our dreams and our aspirations and the things that we get sometimes we let go of because of what happens to us and experiences. So tell us about always had it in me.
For me, it was always knowing I had the ability, the will to do it, and me being just getting in my own way and not wanting to trust God and not wanting to allow myself to be fullness in him to bring me my bling. I've always had it. Like, as I stated before, when I was younger, like my teachers would always tell me, oh, you're great at this and you're good at this and I always had it, but I would always run from it as well. So for me, I was talking to my best friend and she was like, well, you always had it in you. I'm like, duh, you're right. Like, you're dead on it. And it's so true. Like I'm my biggest competition. I keep saying that, but it's so true. I lived it. If I can get myself out the way, my bling is gonna shine out every day, all day. So
wow. So it's almost like you are your biggest cheerleader and your worst critic.
Yes, correct. Biggest cheerleader and my worst. I don't really care what nobody else says. Like, what people say and what people do doesn't really drive me. It's me. It's me. And to know me, you would know that to be true. Like, you can say whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. I know who I am. But I am my own worst enemy and my biggest critic.
And that's oftentimes when you think about it, many of us, when we talk about our stories, we're often our biggest cheerleader and our worst critic. And those experiences, when we talk about I always had it in me, those are the things that rob us. We always knew that we were great at, fashion in your chapter, or great at makeup and artistry. We always knew that we like to teach or we like to love on people. And so the passion that we have is connected to our purpose. Our bling is our purpose. Our bling is the thing that allows us to connect with God in such a way that when we've gone through those challenging times, when that light hits us, it's like bling. And we walk directly, he illuminates it, and we walk right into our purpose. When I tell you, always had it in me, that's a story, again, to continue to be written. I'm telling y'all, it's deep on tonight. I hope you all are excited to join us when I'm talking about the ladies that are on this journey with us. And when you say, Jermaine, your journey, and you talk about, here it is, you, me, myself, and why. Why? The big question. Tell us some of the things that caused you to say why.
Okay, so I would have to think about my journey began when I was 13 years old. The Lord allowed someone to minister to me, a woman of God who is still in my life to this day. And I accepted the Lord at an early age. So I felt like God protected me from the ages of 13 all the way up into my 20s. I may have been very naive. I didn't know what the world had to offer because I was in a Pentecostal church. Okay, so I walked to church every Sunday, probably about a mile and a half in about 6-inch heels. okay? And part of that was when I stepped into the church, everything was matching, nothing was out of place, but that was my covering. And that was my way of dressing up on the outside to hide the pain that was on the inside. I was pretty much a loner as well. So God allowed me, again, at that early age to seek him first. He laid his hands on me. My journey was because God protected me throughout my journey. So when I became older and I left, first of all, I forgot to mention I'm from the Bronx, New York. And so I went from the Bronx, New York to San Diego, California. And in New York, sometimes there's this thing that children don't leave home. When they grow older, they get a job and they just move in with their parents, okay? That's not what God called me to do. God called me to move after I graduated from college. And that is something that my mother has held against me to this day. She's still upset about it. However, that is what God called me to do. And I had to be obedient to that call. So the reason why is because God instilled in me that he had a journey for me. And one of the things, Dr. Kimberly, you mentioned last night, and this really stuck with me, you said the agenda may change, but the assignment stays the same. So the agenda that I had for myself was different from the agenda that God had for me, but the assignment stayed the same. And I continue to walk in that assignment up until this day, okay? God has been faithful. I've been paying tithes since I was 15 years old on my little allowance, $1.50, okay? And I feel like God has just honored that. So that's why I'm still here. That's why God has just allowed me to be in a place of prosperity where I am today with my work. So that's my why.
And when you talk about me, myself, and why, y'all know it normally go me, myself, and I, like you're all alone. But going through the process, when you say me, myself, God allowed her to walk in her why, her purpose, why it happened to her, why he allowed her to do it. Y'all, when I tell you this is, y'all listen, when you think about your why, it's connected to what happens to you. Right. When you think about your why, what happens to you helps allow that to be produced. And so I'm ready to just really dive deeper into these stories. Y'all, every time you turn this book, this page gets deeper and deeper. This is a page turner. Every story, there's not a, oh, this is a better one, or this is one is worse. No, this is, man, this, whoa. And the thing I love about Bling is it's not sad. Bling is a shocker. I mean, it's like, oh, what? And I'm telling you, it is dynamic. So y'all don't want to miss it. And thank you for that, Jermaine, that why. And you're right. I did say that on our Game Changer call network, when I said this agenda may shake up, but his assignment, it doesn't change. Yeah. So Lorna, tell us about that, when he shook up your agenda.
Wow. First, let me do this little thing, because you know my husband is watching and I don't want to get any side eyes from him. I am Lorna Dennis Parker. Okay, because he'll be asking me, why did you do that? Why did you?
Yes.
Anyway, for me. So I'm the person that had it all planned out. And I found out in the worst way possible how we don't make plans that the divine is not a part of. His plan is the only plan that goes forward in this life, period. So I'm living life on the precipice of some very great things in my mind. And, you know, I was like, yes, honey, we are growing. We are doing all of the things. It is just fantastic right now for me. Everything just coming together for my business, for my family, for my personal life. And then at a conference that I went to with my husband, I discovered a lump in my breast, you know? So it was like, okay, what do? You come home and you pull it together and you try to see what it is, but certainly it's nothing, because, you know, God has just been too good to me. You know, sometimes you feel like Teflon, everything is going well. You feel like it's that season, so nothing can come in there, right? Well, I when I went to the doctor and got everything checked, they referred me to a radiologist to have some further tests done, and it was indeed cancer. And coming from a space where you take care of everybody,
Wow.
everybody having to take care of you, it teaches you some humility. It teaches you how to give other people grace. It teaches you patience. All of the things that my life I felt did not afford me up until that point, I learned. I learned them flat on my back. I learned how to surrender. I learned how to hear him again and how to listen, how to know that some journeys you can't go through with anybody but God, you know? And if you're a person that fills yourself and your life, everything around you with other people and other things, because see, in the field that I'm in, we're hope dealers. We deal in hope for everybody else. We making memories for everybody else as we set up these events and we celebrate marriages and we do all of the things, you know? And when it really comes down to it, you have to realize really what your ministry is and your purpose. I was always able to make things beautiful. I never knew why I had that gift. But what I realized when he shook it up was that really what my gift is. That's just to get me to where I need to deliver my gift. You see what I'm saying? So he came in and he whipped me around to where everything I was doing for everybody else, I needed somebody to do for me. And that was the hardest thing about this all. But just like someone else said earlier, I wouldn't change a thing about it because it gave me the me that I am today. I needed to experience those things to understand some other things. So it wasn't punishment, it was preparation. And so now I'm able to see and to hear on a whole nother level that I had lost before. So you have to be prepared for the shakeup, but you also have to be prepared for the gift that comes behind the shakeup. Do you understand? Because I thought I was celebrating with other people, but there's been no celebration like the celebration I've been having since he brought me through that and brought me to the space that I'm supposed to be. And it feels so natural and easy now when I see, okay, here's where you're supposed to insert yourself and minister. Here is where you're supposed to do it. Before, I would have been quiet. I would have kept everything to myself. But what I realize now is that we have a finite number of acts in the play of life. You got to be careful how you spend your time on the stage. And when you're given that pen, you got to write it. You have to write it. You can't leave that to somebody else because there is a unique story that he gives only to you. And that story he gave to you is for somebody else. It's not even about you. If you fail to tell it, you are doing humankind a disservice. So that's it in a nutshell for me. Whether I answered your question or got all off, I don't know.
Oh, no, you answered the question.
In what it is, you know?
No, that's the question. It was really just moving in that why and him pushing us into this place where his agenda and our agenda, it don't look the same, but the assignment.
Yeah, I thought I had it figured out. I knew nothing about what was in store for me, but I'm so grateful to him for every work that he did in me, the ones he continues to do, because I'm still in a work in process, not a perfect person, but so much better off and so much more at peace and a place of understanding. And I'm just overjoyed. I'm just overjoyed.
Yeah, I told y'all these stories are dynamic and amazing. And when I say you want to pick up this anthology, you want to buy it for your sisters, your aunts, you know what? And you even want to buy it for those young women in your life. You don't want to wait until they've gone through the process to know that there is a process that they'll go through that'll get them to where they're trying to go. You don't want to wait until it's late in the game. And so I'm just grateful that you all decided to share your stories. We're going to have Sandra, if you will, connect us with our last chapters here, and that is 9 through 11.
All right. The only person that we have available is Pastor Latoya Harris. She's affectionately known as the realist, and she strongly believes in sharing the truth of God's word. Pastor Latoya is down to earth and has a unique way of teaching people of various ages, genders, and nationalities. She is a wife, pastor, entrepreneur, mentor, and passionate worshiper, madly in love with her Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Chapter 11, Your Purpose is Greater Than Your Pain. Welcome, Pastor Latoya Harris, to the stage.
Wow. Listen, I just want you to tell us that whole statement. Why you say your purpose is greater than your pain. Take us there.
Well, I would like to say, personally, and I know others have, but my personal story, I've experienced a lot of pain in my life, starting at a very early age, tender age of 8. One of the very distinct things I can remember was losing my father by the way of suicide, and being myself along with my brothers and sisters at the time. It was 5 of us, but being very shocked and young and not knowing how to place those emotions, not knowing, of course, we were in church and all of that, great stuff, had a relationship with God, but not knowing at that age where to place my emotions and how I'm supposed to feel. It's okay to cry, and the stages of grief, all of those things, not healing properly. It caused me to act out in other ways as I began to grow up. It caused my emotions not to really be as sound as they should have if I would have went and got counseling, or maybe been able to talk to a therapist or something like that. So that was one of the very things that I can remember distinctively that hurt me, and that was in the form of death or losing a loved one by the way of suicide. And so as I went on, of course, staying in church, keeping my relationship with God, found the love of my life. I got married to my husband, who I've been married to for 18 years. And I remember, again, very distinctively, we had it all together. We was gonna have, I didn't want over at least 3 kids because my mom had 6. So I was like, I think I just gonna do half of what she did, because I don't think I'm made like that. So the very first time I remember, I got pregnant probably like a year into our marriage. And I remember the night, I probably may have been about 5 weeks pregnant. And I remember midnight, I woke up out of the bed with my husband, and I was laying in a puddle of blood. And I had just got a positive sign like a week ago. And I didn't have a clue. I mean, not just a little blood, it was a puddle of blood. And I woke up and I was screaming. I was like, we need to get to the hospital and all of that. Got to the hospital for the doctor to look me and my husband in the face and be like, you have lost a child. You've had a miscarriage. There's nothing we can do about it. We'll have to, maybe give you a blood transfusion because you lost too much blood. And I remember the very first time that happened. And I remember my husband sitting beside me crying, and I couldn't do nothing about it. He couldn't do nothing about it. And it was another hurt on top of another hurt, a deeper hurt. And after that, just to make a long story short, after that first initial, everybody, oh, y'all can try again. You can try again. It's okay. And people don't really understand the emotional battle that you have as a woman. Okay, well, let me get over this first before I get to this. Well, let me just push this child out the way and just, try again. And so to make a long story short, we tried again. We tried number 6, and every time we had a miscarriage. Number 7, number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, over 14 different times. We tried. That's what I can keep account of, where I knew I had a positive sign. And within 6 to 8 weeks, the sign was gone. I either miscarried of some form, which led me to being anemic and all kinds of things. Yeah, having a relationship with God, but I learned I was angry with God. I was so angry, like, how are you gonna let me get married and love this man and not be able to produce a child? And so it took me years to get to the place to understand that my purpose was greater than my pain. I could not see it. I didn't want to see it. That what he called me to do was greater than me producing children. What he called me to do was greater than what I was experiencing. And so that is one of the reasons I titled my chapter, Your Purpose is Greater Than Your Pain.
Wow. Let's just sit right there for a second. Because when you say your purpose is greater than your pain, it's hard to even look at you all as women, and people see you and they don't know what you've gone through. And Pastor Latoya, like many of you, she ministers to men and women, but she ministers to women. And it's challenging to really speak life into other women. But guess what? She had 14 miscarriages that she's counted. And think about the number of women that she stands in faith for, who's lost, who wounds, they are praying that their wounds are fruitful, and she can stand in the fight because she has not even given up. Like, she's given up the fact of, this is what I've gone through, to this is what I went through it for. That's deep. Like, this is what I've gone through. I'm hurt. It hurt me. I dealt with it. But this is why I have to stand with other women who lost. You know, I got to stand with other women and say, God can still use you outside of a natural birth. God can still use you to birth spiritually. God can still use you to midwife others. God can still use you. And I'm telling you, when you talk about the sound of your bling, I want to ask you all, and again, Pastor Latoya, we are here at your story and we can go backwards here. How did you not forget the sound?
I didn't forget the sound because I finally found my purpose. And when I found my purpose, I held on to it. I mean, I held on to it for dear life. I could not let it go. It was what allowed me to keep moving, what it allowed me to keep breathing, is what allowed me, even in my darkest moments, and where I would say blind faith, I would say that my light will shine only because of his light shining through me in my darkest moments. And light shines the greatest in dark times. You walk into a room, if there's light, you will see that light. And that's when that bling happens. So the bling happened for me in my darkest moments when I didn't think anyone was looking. I couldn't tell anyone, couldn't explain it to anyone. But in my darkest moments was where me and God had conversations, and his light shining through me, I finally found my bling. And I was like, it's not me. It's never me. It's me submitting myself to him, of course, loving him, but it's never me. When you see the bling, it's not me. It's because of him, his light that shines through me. When he says, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Literally, like, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. Everywhere I go, let it shine, shine, shine. Because without him, I'm nothing. Without him, I can't breathe. I can't move. I don't have my ability to think without him. So he's my source. And when he shines through me, that creates the bling that others see.
Wow, y'all, I'm telling you, this little light of mine, the light shines greater in the darkness. Y'all have to understand, make sure when y'all quote these, y'all quote Pastor Latoya, hashtag that with your bling books. But again, make sure she gets that credit for it, because that right there, when it's light is, again, it's more visible when it hits in that dark spot. And I just want to share with women who are listening, watching, and who watch the replay, who are afraid to let their light shine, who are afraid of the light hitting that cut place, who are afraid to really be bold for God and really walk out of shame. Because sometimes we don't blink and we forget the sound because of experiences. What would you all say to that woman who judges herself deeply, or may not feel like she's enough, whether it is her health, whether it's where she physically feels like she's challenged, where she emotionally is drained, women who are fighting in the corporate arena and they keep getting rejection after rejection, women who are in ministry who feel that, you know, their ministry that God has given them may not be growing. Maybe they need more direction. Business, women who are leaders in business and things are just on every side. It's not that they're not successful. They just got to get to the next place. And they're having a challenge to God, what is it? What's next for me? Or what is it that I'm to do here? And so what would you share with these ladies about not giving up on their bling and not being ashamed of the process. Lorna?
I would say that when God puts something in you, he knows exactly what he's doing, and he knows exactly who he's doing it for. There's a process that takes place when you plant a seed that you can't see because it's beneath the surface. Okay. We can only see what happens when something beautiful springs forth. But all of that time underneath the surface that thing is taking place is what you have to trust. And that's like blind faith. You know something is growing, but you can't see it. You got to leave it under there until it sprouts. So for anybody that thinks that they're not enough, remember that God makes no mistakes. For anybody that thinks that they're going through a trial and a tribulation in vain, remember that he has to prepare us to be in place to see if that seed popped up in the sun before it was really ready to be something beautiful, it would die. It would die. So he knows exactly what he's doing when he's taking you through something to bring you to something. That's where blind faith comes in. So you just got to hold on to God's unchanging hand and keep in prayer and keep believing and keep striving. See, don't stop. Where we mess up is we get discouraged when the natural in us, not the supernatural, but the human in us takes over, and we get ready to quit, or we feel so depressed and so defeated. We just want to go somewhere and lay down. That time is always right before your breakthrough. So I want those people to keep pushing and believe. Look at all these beautiful women on this stage. We have all been in that dark space where he gave us no option but to trust him. No option. There was no choice about it. So I'm saying to you today, trust him. Trust that process. Stay in that prayer closet. Stay on your knees. Celebrate through your situation. If that makes you feel any better. And it does for a lot of people. You have to praise him even in the midst of it. I used to wake up every day. I don't care how crappy I felt. And day 3 after my chemo was always the day I would hit that wall. I had no energy. It was like, I'm like, Lord, if I just make it to tomorrow, please help me do that. And there were some praise and worship songs that I would play no matter what. And when I would get my strength back up on day 5, because that's the day you kind of feel a little better and you can move around, I would try to do me a little dance to in the middle of it. and sometimes you just have to do that. You just have to do that. You don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, but you know it's going to bring you something because you are a daughter of the King. You are a child of God. You know it's going to bring you something. So I say treat every day like he's bringing you a surprise gift, even in despair, even in pain, even in misery. Wake up and open that gift and see what God brought you today. If it's just your breathing, if it's just your heart beating, if it's just a phone call from a loved one, you have to learn to celebrate the little wins. It prepares you for the big ones.
Wow. Wow. That's true. We have to learn to celebrate. And oftentimes when we're going through, especially if it's something that has really taken us off our game, like you could just be rolling and something will happen. I always tell people, everybody get their turn. It may be yours today and mine tomorrow, but everybody get their turn. And that's not a fear tactic or one of those, it's just it's a truth. But one of the things that has helped me when I am going through is that I've had accountability partners, women who really love God and won't let me and won't allow me. And even though they see my strength, they still allow me to be human. They still allow me to cry, but they won't let me give up. They still allow me that space. And that is what I've learned, because Pastor Latoya said it at the beginning. Oftentimes we can do things on an island. And sometimes it's natural for us. It's one of those things where we get things done, and we work in these, just a silo of individuality. And Sometimes it's out of pain, but no matter what that is, I would encourage those who are listening and a part of tonight's, and will hear this release, and you'll hear the video, you see the video and watch it, is don't do life alone. The enemy will try to steal your bling by allowing you to hide in the darkness, by allowing you to be alone, making you feel that nobody cares, nobody understands you. When you're going through, as you've heard all these stories, when we're going through, sometimes the enemy will make us feel like nobody gets us and everybody else's life is better. And, why is it just happening to me? And he will isolate you. And that's how he steals your bling. And so I encourage you to look at those around you who are not just going to take from you, but it's going to also speak life into you when you feel lifeless, when you feel hopeless, when you feel like, what you're doing is not working. And so I just remember a time in corporate America, I was bumping up against everything. And I had a great career, but it's just bumping up every single time, just trial after trial. And they weren't even like big fires. It was more like suffocation. And I was trying to position myself in a place that I wasn't a fit. But the whole time I was gaining through this process what he had purposed me for now. And so I just want to encourage somebody who's out there and may feel alone, may feel like it's never coming. He will do what he said he's going to do. And that's what I say, don't do it alone. Don't do it alone.
Mm-hmm. Really good.
And don't do it out loud. Because sometimes we'll do it out loud and it's prematurely done, or people will, y'all can chime in as well. We've gone through all our chapters as well, but sometimes we'll do it out loud. And God says, you're in this season where I have you hidden in this darkness so I can do some things in you. And sometimes we do it out loud and then there's judgment and then there's frustration. And then we get people who attach addendums to our destiny. And so I encourage those who are listening, get this book, y'all. Like, this book is going to change your life.
Mm-hmm.
I promise you. I called Heather. I said, girl, this book good. And it's one of those things that when you are working in it and you're just trying to do the mechanics of making sure it gets done and it's proper, you're like, okay, this is great, this is good, okay, systematic. You want to make sure it's done in excellence, right? And it's a lot of behind the scenes that go into this finished product. Mm-hmm. And I remember just reading this. I read this. Heather mailed this to me. I lost my mom recently. And she mailed this to my mother's home while I was out of town so that I could put my hands on it. And I said, well, I don't know if I'll be able to read it because I don't know emotionally if I'll be able to tap in, right? I read it on the plane on the way back home. And when I got off that plane, like, I hurried up as fast as I could to put my phone on. And I said, Heather, this is good. I said, we've been through a journey over the last year and some change to get this book out. And ladies, congratulations to you. I'm grateful for your push. I'm grateful for your push. And you may think, oh, it's just a book, or, oh, child, I just wrote that chapter. I'm glad that's over, or whatever. But when you take this book and you read it, y'all, this is manna. This is going to feed a whole bunch of people in their wilderness. This is going to feed a whole bunch of women in a place where they don't even know what to do, where they're going. And when they read these stories, they're going to shift. So I thank you for your push. And I thank you for your obedience. I thank you for your diligence. I thank you for showing up to every session, every meeting. I thank you for journeying through the turbulence, Y'all, and for those of you who are watching, it wasn't an easy process. Like they didn't just write, turn it in, and we just, I mean, they had to make decisions. They had to write the manuscripts several times, revisit, rewrite. Wasn't no ghostwriters over here. Wasn't no, we had to make sure that these manuscripts got out, and we didn't want to change their authentic voice. And it's beautiful, by the way. I don't know if y'all know, but this cover's bad. And you all should be proud. So as we begin to leave on tonight and finish up, I just want to say thank you for taking this journey. I want you all to begin to share. I'm going to go around on the stage, and you all share what's next for you, what you have coming up, or if it's still in progress or to be continued. Just share a little bit about what you have coming up and what your plans are. I want people to follow you. You can go to the Sparkle Publishing page and go to their own personal pages. You have their intros, their names here. Also, if you take a look on Sparkle Pub page, you can see the authors. They are tagged, or you can go to their personal page. You see their names right here. So again, thank you so much. And before we leave, I want to just say thank you to the Sparkle Publishing team, to Heather White, Sandra Walters, and Christy Staples for taking this journey with us, not giving up, fighting through and making sure that this was an award-winning book, as we will continue to push and make sure our book goes to not just Amazon bestsellers, all right? Like Amazon, just for those of you out there, is amazing. You want to get that award. That's just great cred, right? It's one of those things. You get sales, you get Amazon. You Sparkle Publishing bestseller. That's what we want to do as well. But then also, the bestseller to me is when we get emails and you get calls and you get comments and people send you messages and they say, this changed my life. Or I just sent this to my daughter who lost her baby. Or I just sent this to my, daughter who's going through in her marriage. Or, I just sent this to my aunt who's been in her job for 30 years and she's now walking by faith and she's walking into business, her own business. Or I just sent this to, my cousin who got a diagnosis of cancer. Those are the best sellers. And so I want to encourage you all, don't forget the reason why he didn't allow you to forget the sound of your bling. And thank you for trusting me with your story. All right, now share with us what's next. We'll start with Talisha. She's like, whoa, wait a minute, Dr. Kim.
I thought I was third.
We're just going across the stage.
Well, what I have coming up, I am working on another piece of manuscript, kind of taking my time with it. And I am also working in God's ministry with going to the next level, as well as volunteering in some other ministries and taking on some different positions that I've never, that I would have never thought that I could ever do. So just being more available in ministry and doing what God has asked me to do. So that's what the next step is for me.
Wow. Well, best of all of God's blessings and amazing things that he has for you to come. Pastor Christine.
Oh, Dr. Kimberly, let's see. With ministry and Real Talk, my husband and I and a couple of co-authors are finishing up a book regarding the church, and just working on some things for the women, and some more things to come. But God is downloading some projects for me, so I have some more future things that's coming.
All right, all right. Here we go, Sharrelle. She's like, what?
Thank you, Dr. Kimberly. Well, what I have coming up, first of all, I have another anthology with Sparkle Publishing called I'm Speaking that will be released here very, very shortly. Also, I have an ebook coming out with Sparkle Publishing called The Sister Soiree, Bloom Where You Are. And I will be launching my podcast called The Blooming Effect the first Wednesday in April. I'm just so excited about what God is doing. And for all of you out there who want to purchase the book, you can go to SharrelleAvery.com and shop with me. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Wow, y'all, I'm telling you, these ladies, y'all dealing with the best over here, okay? It's all about the bling tonight. Pastor Latoya.
Yes, ma'am. So I am actually working on doing a in-person book release in the month of April, and I'll get the dates to everyone. You can follow me on my personal page, Facebook. That's Latoya Harris. I also do Morning Coffee. It's Morning Coffee and Me host that live on Facebook every Tuesday and Thursday, 8:00 a.m. Central Standard Time. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram. I believe that's all of the avenues you can find me on. Also my website, www.latoyaharrisministries.com. If you're looking to want to purchase the book, you can purchase it on my website as well. Thank you.
Y'all listen, so she all reserved and stuff. Y'all go listen to that Morning Coffee. Y'all gonna be like, wait a minute, is that Pastor Harris that was on the, baby, y'all listen. Okay, she's like, in Morning Coffee, just go on her page and go look. She gives us all kinds of life. You better wear your steel toe boots because baby, she plays no games. And I love it. So go ahead and check her out as well. Lorna Dennis Parker.
All right. Well, I have recently launched a project called Project Rise, and it is a direct give back in the events industry to the events industry because so many of our businesses had to be shuttered and closed for coronavirus, and some of them will never reopen. But for the ones of us that are hanging on, I decided to reach out to industry leaders, thought leaders in our industry, and put together a project that will travel to 6 cities currently, and I'm hopefully adding on some more to give back and to help those people gain a different skill set that are in the event industry, give them some content for their social media, help them rebrand their websites. And I've gotten some of the top industry professionals, photographers, florists, venues, they've all given back. And so this is a complete give back, and I'm very excited about it because I'm able to do something to help people that, you know, they didn't have an opportunity to work. They didn't have, I mean, so many people did it, but, you know, when will celebrations be back? We don't really know. So I'm excited about that. I have had the door open for so many speaking opportunities recently, so I am being obedient in that. I'm doing education in the field of getting the back end of your business together in the event industry. And you will be hearing from me shortly because I have already begun to put together from this journey the women survivors that I know, that I wanted to do the sisterhood behind the sisterhood with you. So there will be another anthology coming through Sparkle Publishing. And so I'm excited about that. So we'll keep
Wow, y'all, I'm telling y'all in high cotton on today. Y'all thinking, you know, like, oh, they're just so nice. No, these women right here, Kingdom Boss chicks, they beasts. Go follow them, go check them out, go look at Lorna's events planning business, I don't even know what the name she called, like it's called Magic. That's what it should be called, Magic, because I mean they make magic. She just, again, the hands are gifted in what she does. And so go check, I'm telling you, check each of these ladies out. Talisha didn't mention her business as it relates to tutoring. Y'all, she might get mad at me because she might be already full to capacity. I keep sending people to her. It keeps sending more people, more kids. And so she's probably, go ahead, Talisha.
The team is building. The team is building.
I'm telling you, every kid, anybody who has a kid, and not just little kids, I'm talking about SAT, is it ACT, SAT, college prep, and all that good stuff. I'm telling you, they do it virtually. She started out face to face with my kids, my daughter, years ago, and she's still, again, both of them, she has them every week. And I'm telling y'all, I send everybody to her. She probably like, girl, we ain't got no more. You wait now. So again, these women are amazing. All right, Kiana Mcdaniel.
I have a few things coming up that's on schedule, but I'm going through a season of healing. So I'm just letting God allow me and place me where I need to be. I do have a few podcasts coming up with PR Yourself with Leah Frazier. I'm also going to plan actual book signing inside the House of the Shea location. No date set on that as of yet, but I'm, just communicating with God, and God is just telling me to let him lead me. I have a lot of people wanting me to do things right now, but I recently lost my dad, and I feel like I don't want to be around a whole bunch of people at this moment. So I'm letting God allow me to be where I need to be. I'm being very selective with that, but that's me.
And intentional, right? So that's the thing, being intentional.
Not selective, intentional. I see.
Yeah. Yeah, being very intentional about how and where you use your time in your season of healing as you go through your process of grief. And so this is amazing, y'all. Like, and she didn't say about House of the Shea and the Shea Cosmetics, but you can go to her site and you can also take a look at some of her amazing products and amazing things that you can purchase, y'all. It's getting, it's getting a little hotter outside coming after Easter. So go ahead and take a look at some of those amazing items she has. Go ahead.
I said, you always kill me on that, but no, I didn't. My website is open 24 hours.
Yeah. Listen, I got all y'all covered. Y'all be like, So yes, Jermaine Fields, what's up for you?
Oh, I am so excited to begin working in my coaching ministry and also just working with you on your upcoming project. I have my website, lifecoachg.com. I'm also on Facebook under my name. God has given me an opportunity in this season to provide coaching for free. Now we're transferring to a new season. It's going to be coaching for a fee. Okay.
Come on.
That's a t-shirt. That's a t-shirt. Coaching for free.
So
yes, y'all, I'm telling you, we've had an amazing time on tonight. Again, I'm telling y'all, these women are amazing. Y'all got to connect with them. This is not the last time you'll see Bling together. We want to make sure that as we move forward, we will be properly prepared so that you all can connect with us, not just in a virtual world, but in real life, where we can connect, hug, and do all those things and get your books signed. And if not, at least bring your book and take a picture. But again, we have some amazing things on the horizon that we will announce as we move forward and get more clarity. So we want you all to know on tonight, when we talk about the agenda changing, but the assignment doesn't change, we had an amazing agenda planned out for our 2020 Bling and our book anthology for Sparkle. And when I tell you that there has been some crushing things that have taken place in my life personally, but also in the lives of the authors. We have had job loss where women have weathered through job loss. We have had women who go through anxiety attacks, and women who children were in situations where they were incapacitated. We've had so many women go through life-changing transformations and challenges, and these women weathered through. And we can't say everything that happened, but there have been women who've battled COVID. There's been women who have been in the hospital for procedures. There have been women, again, who've gone through divorce as we go through these journeys. And there's women who are, struggle with depression and fighting for their life. And in that, these women are just like you. We are more alike than we are different. And I just want to encourage anyone who's out there who's saying, this is for those type of women. No, this is for you. And I want you to know that these women fought just like you are fighting. And some of us are still fighting today, but we fight with different weapons. We fight with our weapon of faith. We fight on our territory where we know that we don't have to give up, because heaven's angels, this host of angels, are around us and warring on our behalf. And so I want to encourage you all on tonight to continue your journey and finding your bling. It is an honor to share these stories, and I don't do it by myself. So, Sandra, if you have parting words to our authors and to our audience.
So now y'all got to see what I encountered in listening to the stories beforehand. So as I was sitting here and listening to everybody, I was like, I just had chills up and down my body. And at first I thought it was nervousness, but when I was done, I still had the chills. So thank you so much for sharing your bling and sharing your stories. You have totally ignited me, and I appreciate, again, the opportunity. Y'all, I'm excited about y'all. Everybody needs to go and get these books, because you need to hear these stories. They're amazing, amazing how God showed people their bling. And through that, you've shown me my bling. Thank you.
Wow. Wow. And definitely last but not least, this lady is dynamic, amazing. I don't have enough words. And she is a destiny partner, a destiny pusher. I'm grateful that God has entrusted us with one another and to do life with. This is our 11th year of connecting in destiny together intentionally. And again, I couldn't do it. One thing I want to share about Sandra and Heather and Christy, these ladies, when I lost my mom, and even before then, when my mom was diagnosed and the cancer came back and more aggressive. These women, I didn't have to worry about bling. I didn't have to worry about I'm speaking. I didn't have to worry about communicating or anything. So if it seemed like, oh, she's missing, I was. But they found me. And they showed up for me. And so, thank you. They did things that they did not know how to do. And they just did it. Nothing fell through the cracks. And they helped me maintain my bling, because I almost lost my bling. How you publish 100+ women, plus individual books, do a whole mastermind, and bury your mom. So I want to share with you, ladies, thank you is not enough, but I'm grateful. So Heather, thank you. And you want to share something with the ladies on tonight? You're on mute if you are. Heather, you there? No, she might not be there. But again, when I tell you, ladies, this lady came in the clutch for me, and you all know it. I appreciate it. Christy, she's not with us on tonight. And most importantly, you all graced me. You knew what I was going through. and you graced me. And I appreciate it and I'm grateful. But on tonight, as we move forward, let you all know that let this be the beginning of what's next. This is the release and launch. That means go. Don't mean stay. That means go. And so thank you all for tuning in. Thank you all for joining us on tonight with our amazing virtual book release. Ladies, it's been a joy. Don't forget to go purchase Bling. And again, we'll hit you all up shortly because we will be doing our Amazon bestseller push. So we want you all to join forces with us as we do that. We've done it before and we're going to do it again. Thank you so much tonight. Visit sparklepublishing.net if you are ready to publish your book, get published, or even writing coaching that we have available for you through Sandra as well. And they'll push you right into our book publishing pipeline. And as we take these women and their stories across the world, we would love to take your story and join forces with you. Good night, ladies. And again, thank you.